Zack Morris is trash.
Lisa won Homecoming Queen, and the football team is having a toga party to celebrate. Zack Morris uses this as an opportunity to try and pull a threesome. A man who appears to be in his 30s says he used his brother's ID to buy beer. Zack doesn't want a beer, but Slater reminds him they're seniors in high school at a party, and it's just one beer, so Zack succumbs to peer pressure and drinks a bunch of beers. The party's winding down when Zack decides to abandon the girl he's been talking to, passed out on a couch surrounded by drunk dudes. Lisa and Slater announce they are too drunk to drive. Screech is in the process of explaining he hasn't had a drop of alcohol all night, when Zack interrupts him to say he'll drive. Lisa's mom left her the Mercedes while she's out of town. Zack requests the keys while still holding half a beer. Zack almost crashes the car. Then, after he narrowly avoids an accident, turns around to tell Slater about that crazy time he almost crashed the car and hits a telephone pole. Zack wakes up Tori in the middle of the night and asks her to pay to get the car towed. Slater complains his arm is hurting. Zack ignores his cries for help. Zack's dad walks in, and to avoid getting in trouble, Zack creates an elaborate lie where Lisa was driving, swerved to miss a dog, and hit a telephone pole. Because even in Zack's fantasies, he can't imagine missing a giant immovable object. Zack continues lying, explaining the car can't go back to Lisa's house yet because their garage is full of boxes of tools Lisa's family annually gives to homeless people.
Boxes of tools for homeless people.
A perfect alibi. When Zack's dad says he's going to call Lisa's mom, Zack gets the drop on his father by having Lisa preemptively call Zack's dad pretending to be her mom, further spreading his insane web of interconnected deceit. Slater interrupts the gang's first hangover to announce repairs will cost $1,000. Even if they steal a water pump from the school's auto shop, they're still looking at $500 of damages. Zack spies a nerd to prey on and immediately thinks of a way to rob him. He says if the nerd pays $10 a letter, Zack can write a message on Slater's jersey for the homecoming game. And if it's a love letter to a hot girl he has no chance of dating, that hot girl will suddenly want to date him. Lisa calls her mom to say she won Homecoming Queen and lies about the car. She shows signs of guilt, but Zack, who is counting that nerd's money, reminds everyone to stay focused on the plan and tells Screech to go steal that pump. Zack's scheme to advertise on his friend's back is working when Slater breaks the news that his arm was badly injured in the accident and he won't be able to play in the game. Zack shows a total lack of empathy for his friend missing the biggest game of the year as a result of his drunk driving accident, and asks if he can maybe just throw little passes so he doesn't have to refund the nerd's money. When Mr. Belding sees Slater's broken arm, Zack takes it upon himself to lie for Slater and says it happened in practice. Mr. Belding commends Slater for being such a great example of an upstanding student. Slater and Lisa both give pained speeches to the student body, visibly struggling with the weight of their deception. Zack is confronted by the nerds whose money he already spent and reluctantly hands over his phone as the next best thing to a cash refund. He asks what he did to ever get into this mess. Tori reminds him.
You drove drunk and ran into a telephone pole, remember?
Lisa's mom asks for a ride home, and Zack lies yet again, saying the car is at his house because they waxed it. When they get to Zack's house and the car won't start, because who knew Tori and Slater couldn't fix a Mercedes during lunch, Zack says it's because wax leaks into the fuel injector and has Slater corroborate his lie. Then when Zack's dad shows up, Zack tries to get rid of him with another lie, saying a guy called and he wants to buy 100 computers, and his dad better call him back right away. Zack's dad remarks you can't even tell the car was in an accident, and even though the jig is now up, Zack continues to lie, trying to say the accident his dad is referring to is the made-up thing with the wax in the fuel injector. Lisa and Slater are completely over this shit. Zack is now forced to come clean about his many lies and faces punishment, which is literally just getting yelled at, grounded for a couple of weeks, and losing his car for a while so he doesn't kill anyone with his total lack of judgment. Let's review. Zack Morris drove his friend's mother's car drunk after ignoring an available sober driver and crashed it into a telephone pole. Then to cover up his mistake, lied his ass off left and right, tricked nerds out of their money to pay for the damages, stole auto parts from the school, caused Slater to miss the big game, and crushed his friends under the weight of his lies. And he only got grounded for 2 weeks? Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris is trash.